anyone I can think of. So she's a great supporter, and here is Rita Meyer.
Gosh, it's great to be here today. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's just super. I'm just going to a couple opening comments. And I would just want to say that wherever I go as state auditor, and certainly now as candidate for governor, I always speak about the retail industry across Wyoming and certainly the tourism industry. And I always take along a factoid, which is the number of tourism dollars that are appropriate for that community and that county. And of course we know in this county over $300 million is spent every year in tourism dollars, and that usually lights up the eyes of folks in the community. In addition to that, wherever I go, I also talk about buying Wyoming, both personally and businesses. And I'm also very, very adamant about that for state appropriated dollars. There's an opportunity to truly redirect a lot of the dollars that we spend in state government, in the operation of state government for products and services, back to main streets across Wyoming. We wouldn't have to use very many economic development dollars in this state if we would simply be more conscious, if state government would be more conscious about how they spend appropriated dollars for the things they need for operation of state government. The other thing I talk about is Travel Wyoming. I think it's very important we get those new monies for tourists across the state of Wyoming. But I think it's very important, particularly right now where people have lesser incomes than they perhaps had a couple of years ago, for people to think about traveling the state rather than going out of state and spending those monies in communities across Wyoming. As you consider candidates and your candidate for governor, I would just ask that you seriously consider where I've been, what I've done, and how I've served the tourism and retail trade industry. I'm telling you what, I'm a big shopper on main streets across Wyoming because I seldom get an opportunity to shop elsewhere, which is good. Just came back from Torrington where I spent some bucks on Saturday, so appreciate that and appreciate your time today. And what's the forum? You just go ahead with questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon and welcome, Rita. As a way of introduction, I'm Ken Patel. I'm board member of WLRA, as well as chairman of the Government Affairs Committee and chair of the WLRA PAC. And since you talk about the tourism, I have first question on tourism. Since the Wyoming Travel and Tourism Program is an investment that brings over $100 million a year in state and local taxes and 30,000 full and part-time jobs, would you maintain spending at the current level, even in the light of budget shortfalls?
You know, I think that we can't afford not to do that. Those investments of dollars in Wyoming bring new money to Wyoming, and I think it's very important that we continue the investment. I was there when a lot of discussion was taking place about, if you will, breaking out the tourism industry from under the umbrella of the Business Council somewhat, and I've been a real proponent of that. I think those dollars have been spent wisely. It's not that you don't go back over time and review everyone's budget and review the programs and the results that are gotten from different programs, even in tourism and all throughout state government. So I think it's important to revisit those programs, to look at results so that internally you can redirect dollars, but I would not support reducing expenditure in that particular in tourism. Yeah.
Rita, hi, nice to see you again. Barry Sims, I'm the president-elect of the Wyoming Lodging and Restaurant Association. Rita, what would you specifically do to diversify or expand Wyoming's economy?
Get that question a lot.
Sure, and try to be as specific as you possibly can.
Sure. There is a lot of diversity going on across Wyoming. However, a lot of the diversification we're doing will always be overshadowed by the revenues from the energy industry because they are so huge. But there is diversification taking place. The number one thing I have championed is making sure that we have a good platform for high-speed internet, global access, integrated communication systems, because there's not a business in Wyoming that's looking to expand, or a new business coming in, or a business here, a startup in the state itself, that doesn't need those platforms to grow or to start a new business. In addition to that, I've always been a champion of investment in research and development at the University of Wyoming and at our community college and in other sectors across the state. There is an opportunity here to do a lot of research and to be the world leader in terms of reduction of the carbon footprint, not only as we produce energy across Wyoming, but also as we export. And we have some research and development being done in coal gasification. We need to continue that, in coal carbon sequestration. And I think those are really important for the future of Wyoming, not only in terms of diversification of what we do, but in terms of helping with that carbon footprint. So NCAR is going to bring, there will be a lot of follow-on businesses because NCAR, of course, is high-tech. Computer systems, there will be a lot of businesses that spin off from that. So I think we have to look towards technology in terms of Wyoming diversifying and expanding. But as I always say, businesses belong being developed and jobs being developed out on farms and ranches, on main streets, certainly in the energy sector. I am not a proponent of trying to build jobs with government dollars.
Tim Guyberson with JCPenney and the current chair of the Wyoming Retail Association. My question to you is, if revenues fall below expectations and there is a need for additional taxes during your administration, what specific taxes would you propose?
Of course, that hypothetical T word, which is always a great big trap for anybody running for any office. Certainly, I think before you ever approach the T word, here in Wyoming specifically, you have to look at having the proper size of government. You have to look at reducing government expenditures. You have to look and make sure we are truly focused on providing for the needs of Wyoming citizens versus the wants of Wyoming citizens. Too often, when we have a lot of money, there's mission creep in government, and we start to do things that are truly not needed, but they're nice to have. So I think you always have to look at that. In addition to that, looking at government, reducing the size of government, expenditures on that side, but also it's important, as I said, to separate wants and needs. But in addition to that, look very carefully. Look and see if you are thinking about a tax, making sure you're looking at transparency, making sure you're looking at what is truly needed in terms of a tax and how will that affect. How will it cause for instability? Is it transparent? All of those things need to be considered before you ever consider a tax. And number one, most of all, you have to make sure that you're truly separating wants from needs. As I said, that mission creep in government, it's easy for government to grow and get those things all mixed up. I know as a member of the SLIB board, the State Building Commission, we had a project before us from the Department of Corrections, which was to build housing in Rawlins for prison guards. And I said, not only no, but heck no, should we ever compete with the private sector in terms of building houses. If we had an issue where prison guards couldn't afford housing, then we needed to look at differential pay or a different kind of housing, but that belongs in the private sector, absolutely.